So what happened to the PC Classic? Well, that's today's question, everyone. Hi everyone, my name is Mitchell, and today we're going to be taking a look at the PC Classic and trying to figure out what happened to it. If you saw my video from a few weeks ago talking about mini consoles and what I think the future holds for them, if you didn't, links in the description. Today we're going to be talking about the PC Classic specifically. In that last video I mentioned how I was wondering what exactly happened to it. I mentioned that my guess was it was just canceled. They kind of gave up on the project. But I decided to do a little bit of digging. I contacted them and we got a few answers for you. So sit back, relax, don't forget to subscribe, and let's take a look. Okay, first up, let's go over a little bit of history of the PC Classic. And if you've been following the PC Classic for a little bit like I have, just go ahead and skip ahead. All right, I got a few notes here that I'm going to go over. I've been writing this up the past few days. It was first announced in November of 2018. We know that. They said they want to start crowdfunding in late November, the time it was announced, or going into early December. That didn't happen, so in January, a new video was posted after the holidays. They kind of wanted to give an update, and they mentioned that in their second video, that their first video, which was lower quality, got a lot more attention than they initially expected. With all the mini consoles, I think they really weren't expecting to get such a big response, but a lot of people were really interested in these kind of things. So they said that they decided to rethink what they were working on. They said they hadn't even contacted many publishers of games to get those on board, but a lot of those were starting to come to them, which for us as gamers is a good thing. So it seems like good stuff here. Let's see. Also in the video, he explained their plans, as well as answering many questions. Eric, the CEO of Unity, he mentioned that besides it being a very surprising response and overwhelming, in a good way, of course, from the gaming community, that they have secured 41 licenses already, and this is in January of 2019, so that was a while back. They probably have more now, I'm assuming. He said that the games will be pre-installed, like most mini consoles are that we know. But what's interesting is that more are going to come physically on SD cards, as well as digital downloads, which I know is something that a lot of people really want for mini consoles like the NES Classic or the Genesis and PlayStation, of course. They want to get more games installed, legally, of course. And lastly, he does mention making more video updates, but obviously that didn't really happen. So that's why I assumed that the project was canceled, more or less, or that they just given up on it for whatever reason. But after emailing them, I did get this email back from them. All right, so in the email, he starts out by mentioning the Facebook group, which is a good place to start for getting updates on the PC Classic. But the email starts out, generally, we have a number of other projects that took longer to complete than expected. This is the main point. He's mentioning the Facebook page, their post. We've received much more interest than expected. So I and many other people have expectations about the hardware that were higher than we were aiming for originally. So we're looking into changing up the specs to be closer to authentic 90s architecture, and we are revisiting the project this summer. And this is directly from the CEO, Eric, over at Unity. So based on this email response from Eric, it definitely seems like the PC Classic is far from gone, and we have another mini console, if you want to call it that, on the way. This is really exciting. We should be hearing something new in the next few weeks or months, sometime this summer, I assume, for their crowdfunding, if they're still doing that, and hopefully a release date. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I'm sure most of you guys are as well, if you're watching this video anyway. But of course, you can imagine that I will be covering any new updates, game announcements for the PC Classic right here on the channel, so make sure you're subscribed for that. So, as you saw in the email from Eric, their Facebook page definitely seems to be the best source of information. That's how I got a lot of this information. I had no idea about it, never even thought to look there. So definitely check that out. That's what they recommended to me. And of course, the link to that page, as well as both their YouTube videos announcing it and the update from last year, that's going to be in the description as well. Definitely check it out. Leave them a like or whatever it is. Just let them know that you're interested. I know that will really help them out. But, I just want to mention some real talk here about the PC Classic. It's one of the most interesting to me because the NES Classic, these games are so easy to come by, I suppose. PlayStation Classic, the Genesis, these games are easy to come by and run as long as you have the console and the game. But the PC Classic, it's something that I never grew up playing. For a lot of people that I know anyway, we didn't play PC games growing up. We didn't have a computer really able to run them. We didn't have the games. It just was a lot of stuff. And to run them nowadays, you have to have that specific old hardware still running. It's just so much more complicated, at least for me anyway. Someone else might be different. So that's why the PC Classic is really interesting to me. It combines a lot of these games into one small box, like the NES Classic, all these other mini consoles, but this one just has a lot more use to me anyway. Let me know if that's the case for you. Maybe not. But, Unity, you guys out there, if you're watching this video and somehow you made it this far, thank you, okay, both of those, if you got this far, anyone watching really. But I want to make a small request, if you care to even hear my opinion. It's if you guys, when you start doing the crowdfunding, if you can make a higher tier to include a plastic mini monitor, keyboard, and mouse. You talked about this in one of your videos. Non-functioning, just plastic, like the Sega 32X and the Sega CD that they did in Japan, those little add-ons, it's just plastic shells. If you guys can just make a higher tier, like $20 more, and you get these plastic molded shells for aesthetic reasons, of course, that would be really, really awesome, and I would really appreciate that because it would just look cool on the shelf. I would love to get the Sega CD and 32X add-ons for my Genesis Mini because it would look so awesome on the shelf. I hope Sega does that. That's a story for another time, though. So if you guys are watching, that's my request. Just a little bit more money. I would join that higher tier so I can get that just to complete the PC Classic on the shelf look. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that nonsense. Dislike it if you didn't like it. How could you not? Anyway, I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching.